There are fears that are learned, and there are fears that are hardwired into our DNA. We fear the dark, we fear falling. But perhaps the most suffocating fear of all is the fear of confinement. The fear of being squeezed, of not being able to expand your chest to take a breath, of being held tight by something that has no mercy, no ears, and no intention of letting go. Imagine you are deep underground. You are in a cave system that is famous for being tight, twisty, and slippery. You are crawling on your stomach. The rock walls are pressing against your shoulders. The ceiling is scraping your back. You are looking for a passage called the birth canal. You see a hole in front of you. It is small, barely 10 inches high and 18 inches wide. You think this must be it. I just have to exhale to squeeze through. You suck in your stomach. You push forward with your toes. You slide your hips in. But then the tunnel doesn't open up. It gets tighter, and it points straight down. Gravity takes over. You slide forward, head first, into a vertical fissure. Your arms are pinned beneath your chest. You can't push back up. You try to wiggle backward, but your hips catch on the rock roof. The more you struggle, the deeper you slide. You are now wedged upside down, like a cork in a bottle, 150 feet below the surface of the earth. And with every breath you take, the walls seem to get closer. You are not just stuck, you are being slowly crushed by your own weight. This is the story of John Jones and the Nutty Putty Cave. It is not a story about a reckless daredevil. It is a story about a medical student, a father, and a simple mistake that turned a fun family outing into a slow-motion tragedy that was broadcast to the world. It is a story of 137 rescuers, a pulley system that failed, and a final, heartbreaking phone call to a pregnant wife. If you are claustrophobic, take a deep breath now because we are going deep. If you want to understand the terrifying physics of why a man was left entombed in stone, please hit that subscribe button. You need to hear this story because it serves as a permanent warning. The earth is heavy, and sometimes it swallows us whole. To understand the tragedy, we have to meet the man. John Edward Jones was 26 years old. He was everything you'd want a young man to be. He was a medical student at the University of Virginia. He was kind, religious, and athletic. He was married to his high school sweetheart, Emily. They had a 1-year-old daughter, and Emily was pregnant with their second child. It was Thanksgiving, 2009. John and Emily had come home to Utah to visit family. John had grown up exploring caves. He wasn't a novice. He loved the adventure. He gathered a group, his brother Josh and some friends, to go to the famous Nutty Putty Cave. The cave, located west of Utah Lake, was a local legend. It was a hydrothermal cave, meaning it was formed by hot water rising from below, not water dripping from above. This made the cave humid. The walls were smooth, slimy, and warm. The cave was known for its tight squeezes. Passages with names like the Helmet Eater, the Scout Eater, and the Birth Canal. It was a challenge, a rite of passage. John was 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. He was bigger than he used to be when he explored as a kid. But he felt confident. November 24, 2009, 8:00 p.m. The group entered the cave. For the first hour it was fun. They crawled, they laughed, they explored the main chambers. Then John decided to find the birth canal. This passage requires you to crawl through a tight opening that eventually opens up into a larger room. John saw a fissure. He assumed it was the canal. He went in head first. He crawled forward using his hips and fingers. But he had made a fatal error. This wasn't the birth canal. This was an unmapped fissure known as Eads Push. And unlike the birth canal, Eads Push doesn't open up. It ends. It chokes down into nothing. John realized something was wrong. The tunnel was getting too tight. He couldn't turn his head. He couldn't move his arms freely. He saw a slight widening in the rock ahead. He thought, if I can just push through this tight spot, I can turn around. This is a common instinct in caving. Keep moving forward to find space. John exhaled. He pushed with his legs. He slid his chest through the pinch point. But the widening wasn't a room. It was just a small pocket. And then the tunnel took a sharp 70-degree turn, down asterisk. John slid down. His chest passed the pinch point, but his hips didn't. Gravity pulled him down, but the rock held his waist. His arms were pinned underneath him. He was now trapped at a 70-degree angle, upside down. He tried to push back up. But the friction of the rock, combined with gravity, made it impossible. His ribs caught on the rock lip. He was locked in. John called out to his brother, Josh. "Josh, I'm stuck." Josh crawled in behind him. He saw John's feet sticking out of the hole. Josh grabbed John's calves. He pulled. He pulled hard. John moved up a few inches. But as soon as Josh let go to get a better grip, John slid right back down. Thud. And this time he slid deeper. The slide wedged his arms even tighter. "Josh," John gasped, "my arms, I can't move them." Josh realized this was bad. He couldn't pull him out alone. He prayed with John. "Save me from my wife and kids," John whispered. Josh scrambled out of the cave to get help. It was 9:00 p.m. The call went out. "Man stuck in Nutty Putty." The Utah County Sheriff's Office responded. The cave rescue team arrived. These were experts. They had pulled people out of Nutty Putty before. The first rescuer, Susie Matola ***, reached John around 12:30 a.m. She crawled into the tight tunnel. All she could see were John's shoes. "Hi, John," she said. "My name is Susie. We're going to get you out." John's voice was strained. He was laboring to breathe. "Hi, Susie," he said. "Thanks for coming, but I really want to get out." Susie tied a rope around John's ankles. She pulled. Nothing. His body was acting like a Chinese finger trap. The angle of the tunnel meant that pulling on his legs just slammed his hips into the ceiling of the passage. His ribcage caught on the floor. They couldn't just yank him. If they pulled too hard, they would break his legs or snap his spine. They needed a system. While the rescuers were setting up, John's body was fighting a losing battle against physics. Being upside down is devastating for human anatomy. *1. The lungs *. Gravity pulls the liver and the intestines down onto the diaphragm. The diaphragm is the muscle that allows you to breathe. With the weight of his organs pressing on it, John had to work twice as hard to take a breath. His lungs were being crushed from the inside. *2. The heart *. The heart has to pump blood * up to the legs against gravity. It has to work overtime. But the blood pools in the head and the lungs. This causes fluid to build up in the brain, cerebral edema, and the lungs, pulmonary edema. His face began to swell. His eyes turned red. He was slowly drowning in his own fluids. The rescue team grew to asterisk 137 people asterisk. They brought in heavy drills. They brought in rock hammers. They tried to chip away the rock around his hips. But the rock was hard, and the space was too tight to swing a hammer. They decided their only hope was a asterisk compound pulley system asterisk. They drilled holes into the cave walls. They installed anchors. They threaded high-strength rope through the pulleys. This would give them a mechanical advantage. If they pulled with 100 pounds of force, the pulleys would multiply it to 900 pounds. It took hours to set up. It was painstaking work in a cramped, muddy, hot tunnel. The rescuers were exhausted. They were taking shifts. They pumped fresh air down to John. They gave him water through a tube. They managed to get a radio down to him. They connected the radio to the surface. They put Emily, his wife, on the line. She was waiting at the mouth of the cave. She couldn't go in, she was pregnant. John. Hey, Em. They talked. He apologized. He told her he loved her. She told him to keep fighting. Get me out, he told the rescuers. I promise I'll be a good dad, just get me out. The rescuers were crying. Even the toughest guys were tearing up. They knew the clock was ticking. John had been upside down for asterisk 19 hours asterisk. His heart was starting to flutter. He was drifting in and out of consciousness. 4:00 p.m., November 25. The pulley system was ready. 8 strong men lined up in the tunnel above. They grabbed the rope. Pull. They pulled in unison. John groaned in pain. His legs were being stretched. But he moved. He slid up a few inches. Pull. He moved again. Slowly, agonizingly, they lifted him high enough that he was no longer crushing his chest. He could take a deep breath. He made eye contact with one of the rescuers, Ryan. It sucks, John said. I'm upside down, but I'm okay. The rescuers cheered. They had done it. They just needed to adjust the rope to pull him the rest of the way out. They took a break to reset the pulleys. John was hanging there, suspended by the rope, finally relieved of the pressure. Hope filled the cave. And then the unthinkable happened. A sound like a gunshot echoed through the cavern. Crack! The stone arch near John's legs, the anchor point for the main pulley, shattered. The rock wasn't solid. It was brittle magnesium carbonate. The bolt ripped out. The pulley smashed into the face of one of the rescuers, knocking him unconscious. And John fell. Gravity reclaimed him. He slid back down the hole. He didn't just slide back to where he was, he slid deeper. And this time, one of his arms was pinned behind his back in a chicken wing position. He was wedged tighter than before. The rescuers were devastated. They scrambled to fix the anchor. They tried to drill a new hole. But the rock was crumbling. They lowered a new rope. But John wasn't responding. John. Silence. The fall, the shock, and the exhaustion were too much. His heart, already strained to the limit, couldn't take the sudden drop. Midnight, November 25. A paramedic crawled down to the hole. He called John's name. He tried to find a pulse in the ankle. There was none. He listened for breathing. There was only the sound of water dripping. John Jones was declared dead at 11:57 p.m. He had been upside down for asterisk 27 hours asterisk. The rescuers were broken. They had worked for 27 hours straight. They had held his hand. They had lifted him. And they had lost him. They had to deliver the news to Emily. She collapsed at the cave entrance. Now the authorities faced a grim decision. The body was stuck. Really stuck. To get him out now would require breaking his bones, snapping his pelvis, and dragging him out piecemeal. It would risk the lives of more rescuers. The family, grieving and pious, made a decision. They asked that John be left where he was. They declared the cave his final resting place. They didn't want anyone else to die in Nutty Putty. A week later, a crew arrived with explosives. They collapsed the ceiling of the birth canal area, burying John deep under tons of rock. Then they poured concrete into the entrance of the cave. They sealed it forever. Today, there is a plaque on the surface. It lists John's name and the date. But underneath the ground, 150 feet down, John Jones is still there. He is still wedged in that tight turn, preserved by the cool air of the cave. He is the eternal explorer. The Nutty Putty tragedy is a unique documentary because it touches on a fear that is universal yet rarely experienced. We watch movies about monsters, but in this story, the monster was geometry. It was a simple angle, a 70-degree bend. If the bend had been 45 degrees, he might have slid out. If the rock had been granite instead of limestone, the bolt might have held. It is a story of millimeters and seconds. It also changes how we view the earth beneath our feet. We think of the ground as solid. But for John Jones, the ground was a living thing that swallowed him. The description of the Chinese finger trap effect is terrifying. The harder you fight, the tighter it holds. John Jones went into the cave to celebrate life. He ended up becoming a part of the mountain. His story is tragic, but it is also a testament to the rescuers who refused to give up until the very rock itself failed them. He died talking to his wife. He died knowing people were trying to save him. He wasn't alone. But the next time you see a small, dark hole in the ground, the next time you feel the urge to squeeze into a tight space just to see what's on the other side, remember the Nutty Putty Cave. And remember that some doors, once entered, do not open again. This story is physically painful to listen to. I found myself holding my breath while writing it. Do you think they should have tried to recover the body? Or was sealing the cave the right thing to do? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you are haunted by the mysteries of the underground, please hit that asterisk like asterisk button and subscribe asterisk. I have a story coming next week about a diver who got pulled into a Delta P pipe and crawled through 30 inches of oil to survive. Stay safe, stay in the open, and keep your head up.